Hello everyone. So this is the summary of the poem The Good Morrow by John Donne. This poem was written in 1590 and was published in 1633 in the collection Songs and Sonnets. So this is a morning poem, and morning poem is called Obed, Aubade, Obed. So when John Donne was writing this poem, he had those discoveries in his mind which were taking place at that time. For example, Columbus discovered America in 1492, and other explorers were also discovering new territories. So he makes reference to those discoveries in this poem also. Come to the text of the poem. So when the poem starts, the poet is saying, I wander by my truth, what thou and I did till we loved. Now he is saying to his beloved that he is wondering what actually they were doing before meeting and falling in love with each other. Were we not weaned till then? Weaned means breastfeeding. So were they breastfeeding from their mothers? What does it mean? That were they under the care and protection of their mothers, but sucked on country pleasures childishly, or they were enjoying the simple childish pleasures. Okay, simple childish rustic pleasures, or snorted we in the seven sleepers' den, or they were sleeping with the seven sleepers in their cave, Dennis cave. So this is a reference to seven sleepers who slept around 300 years in order to escape from Roman Emperor Decius, who had locked them behind a wall. Okay, but they did not die and they survived. Come to the next line. It was so, and now he himself is giving the answer, and he's saying that the time which they had spent without each other was worthless, was not important. Okay, and they were ignorant, but this all pleasures fancies be. And now he is saying that all the previous pleasures which they enjoyed before meeting and falling in love with each other were unreal and were worthless. If ever any beauty I did see, which I desired and got, it was but a dream of thee. And now he is saying that if I saw anything beautiful and if I desired anything beautiful, then it was only your reflection. It was only the reflection of his present beloved. Come to the next line. And now he is saying that earlier their souls were ignorant, but now their souls are waking up. And he is saying good morning to their souls. Okay. Now good morrow to our waking souls, which watch not one another out of fear. And now he is saying that both are looking at each other without being jealous of each other, without being suspicious about each other, and for them love is everything. All love of other sides controls. Now he says that he is not interested in seeing anything else or in any other sight and scene, but he's only interested, in seeing his beloved's face, and makes one little room and everywhere. Now he's saying that this little room in which they are sitting is like everywhere to him, is like entire world to him. Let sea discoverers to new worlds have gone. Now he is saying that let explorers discover new worlds, let them make new maps, and let them find new worlds. Okay, let us possess one world, each hath one and is one. Now he is saying that each of them, has one world, and together they make one world. Okay, and this world is full of love. My face in thine eye, thine in mine appears. Now he is saying that he can see the reflection of his face in his beloved's eyes, and his beloved can see the reflection of her face in the lover's eyes. And truly, and true plain hearts do in the faces rest. Now he is saying that their faces are reflecting the love and the honesty that they feel for each other. Where can we find two better hemispheres? Now he's comparing his and his beloved's face to two hemispheres. Together they make one world. Okay, and their world is different from the real world, which has sharp north without declining west. What does it mean? That north pole and south pole are so cold and without sunlight, but their world is full of love, and their world is not subjected to death and decay like the real world. And then he says whatever dies was not mixed equally. Now he gives reference to Saint Aquinas statement that whatever is subjected to death and decay, it is only because it is not mixed equally. But he says that their love is pure and their love is mixed. Okay, and together, and their love is without any impurity, and that's why their love is not subjected to death and decay, and their love can never die. Their love is immortal, and the poem ends here.